um, so I've made my vacation, and I'm going to use these little doohickeys on the side, and I can move that into my home category. And if I just drop it under home, now it doesn't disappear. I get these carrots here, and I can see all of my my home projects. And here's vacation down here at the bottom. So if I click on vacation, I have a lot of choices that I can do within this project. The first one is that I can click these three dots here, this ellipsis, and I can decide if I want to edit it, if I want to change the name or the color, I can do that. If I know that I am absolutely going to be using this project again and again, I might add it to my favorites. It stays here in the section of home, but now it's also up here at the top, so I can look at it really quickly and in my important views, and we can come back to that later. I also, and this I think makes it really powerful, a great feature of Todoist, I can choose to share it. So if I click share, I can invite my partner or anyone going on the vacation with me to edit and view and check things off. I think this is really important feature of this. I'm not going to do it today because none of you are coming on my vacation with me. And then within this project, I can also choose to delete it or archive it. And I can use these buttons to change the order, but again, I prefer to change the order by just moving it up and down and around with the handlebar. So now I'm going to think about my vacation and what I'm going to do on my vacation. And within all of my projects, I like to add sections to sort of help me organize what I'm thinking about within my particular project. So I'm going to think about my first section is going to be, what do I need to do to prepare for my vacation? And then I also want to add a section, and there's no real button for this. You just kind of have to know it's there. You kind of mouse around until you see it. So I'm going to choose to add a section on activities. And I'm going to add a section on restaurants. Because if you're not eating at restaurants on vacation, I don't know what you're doing. Okay, so within this project, I also have the option to do all of those things with these three dots here. And I'm going to come back to a few of these options because they're kind of advanced. I also have, and this is really helpful, if you have the premium version or if you are collaborating with someone, I can also add comments to my project. Comments are a premium feature, but if I want to remind myself of a few things, if I want to save some phone numbers or some links and come back to them, I can do that here. So let's think about, that's projects. So now we're going to add tasks to the project. And so let's think about what we might need to do to prepare for a vacation. Well, I'd need to pack. So I'm going to add pack as a task. And I need to, maybe I need to fit into new dress. And maybe I need to research some hotels. Those are going to be my three main tasks to prepare. Fortunately, packing is kind of a big task. If you think about, oh, well, I have to pack, I have to do whatever, you might want to say, well, what do I need to pack? This is not a very specific list. So you have the option to do what are called subtasks. So if I click on pack, and I'll show you that again, all I did was I just clicked on the word pack, I can start adding subtasks to the task that is pack. So I want to pack, and I can be as specific, there's no limit to the number of the tasks that I can have within my project. So I can list down to the very detail 8 pairs of socks if I want to. And even within this subtask, oops, I'm now on 8 pairs of socks, and I can pack red socks and blue socks. And I'm not really sure what kind of vacation requires me to pack all these kinds of socks. But, you know, I don't really remember what vacations are like anymore anyway. So when I close this window, you can see that I've got pack as my task, and I've got a subtask of the 8 pairs of socks, and also all these subtasks. As I complete them, as I put them into my suitcase, I can then check them off. Or if I just look at those to remind myself, I can check off 8 pairs of socks, and it takes care of all of those subtasks there. So you could also use the same thing. If you were talking about hotels you would want to research, you might want to list specific hotels or Airbnb. Here's a great place where you might want to use a comment on this task, because you can use that comment, again, a premium feature, and throw in the link for Airbnb. And what I really like about this, and what I 100% use all the time with my Todoist account, is that I put due dates on just about everything. And due dates are, I think, a really cool feature in here. So let's say I want to fit into my new dress before vacation. Well, that means I'm going to run, and I'm going to run when, I don't know, every Monday. And as soon as I do that, I just type the words every Monday, and Todoist is smart enough to know, okay, well, starting next Monday, you're going to run. And oh, by the way, when I click on that, it also shows me what other tasks I need to do next Monday. There are 9 of them. And I want to do, I want to weigh in every Friday. And I can type Fry. Or I can say, that's too soon. I want to see more progress. So I'm going to weigh in every other Friday. Or maybe I don't want to do that very often. I'm just going to weigh in on the 3rd of the month. So that's 3rd of every month. Usually it's smart enough to know what I want. So I can put those repeated tasks in, and they'll just show up for me again and again. I'm not doing a good job of managing the waiting room. And then I can also choose to click this schedule button if I don't want to weigh in on a repeating basis, if I just want to do it once, if I just want to weigh in on just today or just tomorrow or just next week, or I have this whole calendar that I can choose from. So I have all of June and July, and I don't have to do it till January, because maybe this is my 2021 vacation and I'm not going to worry about that till then. So I have a lot of options with scheduling, and I think that's a really important part. I feel like I have been, I was going to ask if there are questions, and I see there already is one. I don't think due dates are premium. I think you can schedule anything at any time just by doing those things, whether it's free or premium. Before I go on and show you some more of the things you can do in tasks, are there any questions? Do you have questions? Oh, yes. Does it sync with Outlook or Google Calendar? So much. Yes, I'm going to show you that, but I'll show you right now because I think it is really a very powerful feature, especially with Google Calendar. So I think this is a lovely feature. I'm going to get into the settings later, but let's do it now. If you go to the settings or the gear, and then you choose settings, and I don't know if this is a premium feature or not, but again, $18 a year, totally worth it. This button right here, integrations, gives you the option to sync with your calendar. So you have 2 ways of doing it. Google Calendar is the best because it is a 2-way sync. So if you add something, I'm not making money on this. I paid my $18. That's it. That's my whole connection with Todoist. If you tie it to your Google Calendar, anything that you put on your Google Calendar will go into Todoist, and anything you put into Todoist will go onto your calendar, which I think is just a magic feature. And if you choose to do an Apple Calendar or an Outlook Calendar, it's 1-way sync. Anything you put into your Todoist will go onto your Outlook calendar, but Outlook won't automatically import into your Todoist. So, but the Google Calendar sync is amazing, and I'll show you right now. Like here's my view of mine, and so here's all of the things that I need to do today. But if I put this 11 a.m. like write an email, and I add that to my Todoist calendar, it takes like a second and it'll pop up back here. Oops. It'll pop up back here right in my Todoist account. Yeah. Oh, so to recap, Sharon, you want to make sure that you choose the business one. So now when I look at today, in theory, that 11 o'clock is going to pop up for me. In theory, not in practice. It worked for me yesterday. You're just going to have to trust me on this one. Okay. Any other questions about Todoist so far before I show you a couple more of the nuts and bolts? Okay. Going on, I just want to show you a couple more things that you can do within each task. You have the option to edit. And I want to point out also, I use this a lot on my computer whenever I'm setting up or planning my day or really focusing on what I need to achieve. I always open it on my computer. But in my day-to-day, I really only open it like throughout the day. I only use it on my phone or my iPad because it does work on just about every device. You'll also notice, since you can see my whole browser, that I have a Todoist extension as well. And this lets me save a website into Todoist, but I can also just click on this button to see everything that I need to do today as well. And it changes really quickly across devices. So if I say that I need to pack today, you can see that all of a sudden it knows right away. My phone knows everything. It syncs very quickly. Everything knows I now have 15 tasks that I need to achieve. Same thing, if I check that off, you'll watch that drop down to 14 very quickly. Other things you can do within a task, if you didn't schedule it when you were typing it in at any time, you can click that calendar and schedule it. You can add comments to tasks. Again, really helpful if you are working on a collaborative project, or anything else you can do is listed here. So that's the main thing you need to know about tasks. Oh, I also like the fact that if I decide, you know what, I don't love when I chose to do this task, I can reschedule it really quickly. I can push it back. I can push it to tomorrow or next week with just one button. I also really like, oh, nope, that's not what I was going to show you. I also really like that when you schedule something, sometimes it will tell you when it thinks you should schedule it based on how busy you are on an upcoming day. But I don't see that happening for me right now. So you're just going to have to take my word for it that sometimes that happens as well. Okay, so the other thing I want to show you then is just how to view these things. Once you have them all in here and you have your projects, and you can see I have multiple projects within my home section. The best way to see those is to take a look at these views up here. You've got your inbox, and that's any tasks that you have that aren't specifically assigned to a project. I use the inbox a lot when I am thinking of, if you watch my last video about collecting your ideas, I use the inbox for that. If I'm in the middle of something and I'm like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot this, I'll just jot that down in the inbox and later I'll assign it to a project. So you can leave projects hanging out here in the inbox, but I would say in general, you want to keep it clean. You can also look at, and this is what I use the most, I use my today view to see what I've got coming up. And you can see that this takes care of all of my projects. So I've got this, and this is a joint project. You can see that it's got a little person on it. So we've got our ITCs for All project, and I've got this one was assigned to me. And so it's also got red on it because this is flagged as a priority, and I'll show you that in a second too. And I've got all of these things that I need to take care of just for today. I can also look at what's upcoming beyond today, and I can see all of tomorrow, and that can be a little overwhelming. And I can also take a look at just this vacation task. Remember that I favorited that earlier, so I put this up here because I wanted to keep coming back to the vacation task. I'm going to go ahead and remove it from favorites though, because I'm not going to keep coming back here right now. And again, once I remove it, it still stays here in my home section. It's just not cluttering up my views. I might also want to ask myself, oh, what do I have to do on Friday? What are my important tasks on Friday? And on Friday, so I can just use the search bar to look for that. Okay, well, that's what I'm supposed to do on Friday. And what am I supposed to do for the next 30 days? And then this will bring me a view of what I need to do for the next 30 days. So starting with today and ending 30 days from now. I'll post the recording on our YouTube channel and on Facebook, looking at your question. And since I paused to look over at questions, let me answer the ones that I see right now. Does it work with Outlook? It does, but it's only a one-way sync with Outlook. So if you put something on Todoist, it will show up on your Outlook calendar, but Outlook calendar information will not go into your Todoist account. Do you guys have any other questions that you want to ask right now while I'm looking at this? Okay. The other things I want to show you real quick are, these are premium features, so I won't dwell on them very long, are labels and filters. So within labels, I really like this waiting for label. And what I can do with this, if I've got something like, okay, well, I know I want to update the wakelet today, but I'm not sure that I can do that because I need to finish this recording before I can update the wakelet. Or I'm waiting for Katie to create a bunch of wakelets for me. If I'm waiting for something else, if I'm waiting for somebody to do something, I can drag that, oh, hello. I can drag that label on there, or I can label a task as waiting for, or I can label a task as next steps. And anything that I have coming from my calendar automatically gets labeled with that GCal task. You can also add filters, and I think this is an important one. So like, what are my priority one? These are the most important things that we take care of this week. So this is a priority one filter. And you can edit those priorities right here. So again, the priorities and filters are things that I think a lot of people use them a lot. I'm not a huge user of them, but they are a nice feature that is only premium. And I also want to show you just a couple of the things that I really like. These are just kind of nerdy extra bells and whistles. So I already showed you some of the things you can do under settings. You can also change the theme. And again, this is just, it makes me happy that I can do this. I have this on dark mode, but you can change to any of these other color themes as well. I also, you'll notice that not all of, you can use all of these with a free account, and these special colors are a premium feature. It's nice to know if you keep this sync theme on, if I move to dark mode on my computer, it also moves to dark mode on my phone, iPad, and anywhere else, so it's consistent. You've also got Karma as an option, and Karma lets you, it's one of those little, it's like earning a badge, which doesn't do anything for you, but it's kind of nice to see your progress. So I do let Todoist track my Karma, and I'll show you my Karma here in a second. And then another great premium feature, and this might be worth $18 all by itself, is that you can, is a reminder. So if I have any task that I've assigned to a specific time, so if I need to do something tomorrow at 7 o'clock, 30 minutes before, I'll get a reminder on that task that pops up on my phone. And I can decide exactly where it's going to pop up. If I prefer an email notification or a desktop or mobile push notification. And again, that's a premium feature, but it's really nice for anything that has a specific time set for it. Hack it real quick, just again, in integrations, you have the option. Here's where you can sync up your Google Calendar just by clicking Add Calendar, as well as your Apple or Outlook calendar. That's where those sync under the settings and integration. If you want to see my Karma and my nerdery around that, you can see that at any time at this, oh, that's notifications. This shows me my productivity here. It shows me that already today I've completed 5 of the tasks that I wanted to take care of. which is my daily goal, although I've never completed only 5 tasks. I always go way beyond that. And so here's what I've done in the last 7 days. And you can see this is why I color code. So like, again, cool colors is stuff I do for home. There's the like only actual work assigned task that I did. And this neutral stuff is, that's anything that's almost sort of like work. So anything that is in tackling your time Tuesday is a neutral color for me. And so I can see my weekly productivity as well as my karma. And ooh, I'm quickly approaching my next level, and I can see just how my productivity has increased over the past week, and change all the settings there. So again, that's a nerdy thing that really doesn't do anything for you, except it might give you an extra little push or piece of motivator. So that's your 30-minute tour of Todoist. I thought I would have a hard time filling 30 minutes, but in fact, I'm having a hard time just limiting myself to 30 minutes. Do you guys have any other questions or comments or anything about Todoist? Can you set a due date with multiple people? Yeah, if you've got a shared yeah. Katie, you don't care if I show the ITCs for all, do you? Okay, cool. So under my not quite work stuff, here's my ITCs for, here's our collaborative ITCs for all. And so here's some of the stuff we're working on for our summer project. And you can see that these projects, because it's collaborative and you can see the people we've got collaborating on this, you can see that we can assign that task. So Billy is in charge of updating the branding, and he has passed his due date. So that's on there and that's visible to him. So this is a collaborative task. And you can see that, again, some of these things are specifically assigned to different people. And some of these things are recurring. Tomorrow is Wondering Wednesday. This is a recurring one. Some have specific due dates. Oh, and I just remembered that I wanted to show you one other feature real quick. Also, if like this is kind of overwhelming to see all of these different types of projects, and you're like, I still feel like it's too big and I don't know where to start. Todoist also has a feature called templates. So if you go up to the gear and you choose templates, it opens up a new tab for you, and it shows you a lot of projects that people undertake, and it sets them up for you. So you can copy that. You can copy this. So like if I look under education, these are the 3 things they think that you might do in education. By the way, I don't like either of these templates, but I like language learning. So if you click preview, it shows you, okay, here are some ways you could set up Todoist to learn a language. And if I just click use template, it then copies that for me. I hope Wondering Wednesday gets 100 comments. I can click use this template and it'll import all of those tasks for me as a project within my own Todoist. So I think that's another really great place to start. And then I can then go back through this and update like due dates and change this and add this. And now that's part of one of my projects. You'll notice that it adds as a main project, but again, if this is just a home project, I can drag it up into my home section. And now I've got language learning as one of my home tasks. Now I feel like I have to. I think that's good. Oh, Hackett, it might be a premium feature. I don't know for sure. If you don't see it and I do, that's probably why, is that it's a premium feature. So that's pretty much it. I'll hang out for a little while and answer any questions. But if you are looking for that, if you're looking for that certificate, you can have one generated for you at, oh, I just sent that privately. You can have that sent to you at attendance.itcsforall.com. I'm going to type that in for you. If you want that certificate, you can have it popped in there. If you've got questions, please let me know. I'll stop recording if you want to ask an unrecorded question as soon as I remember where to stop recording.